What's up, y'all? It's your boy Niner Faithful. How's everybody doing? Hope everyone is having a legendary day. Sorry we're a little late. The thing's being retarded as always. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and break down Niners aints for you. Hopefully, they actually get together a real, actual, proper show. This totally doesn't just fuck everything up. Me trying to get the show on the Instagram. Hopefully this still works. Or not, we get viewership on Instagram. My computer is just really slow, y'all. That's all it is. It's an old laptop. I got it in 2019. So this shit's 6 years old. Apparently, that's a long time for you. I don't know how often you're supposed to replace your computer. I don't know. I've never really I'm not like a replace things kind of guy. Like if it ain't broke, I don't fix it. So I don't understand why. I don't understand why all of a sudden just my laptop shouldn't be able to work unless there's something broken inside of it, which I don't think so. But I'm also the guy who really hates to update my phone because slow down your phone with updates so you'll get a new phone. Um, I think it was Apple. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty at least get Jason on why I try to figure this shit out because it took it down from fucking one of this shit. Hopefully, in a second, it'll be able. Okay, you know what I'm gonna have to do? I think from now on, I'm just gonna have to do the show from my phone. Yeah, I don't know why it just randomly kicked me off. You know what? Fuck it, dude. Let's try to bring on Jay. What's up, bro? I don't
What
know what the
up?
hell's going
What
on.
up, man?
So
Whenever
I
you
think
tried to add
Dave
whatever the
on
last
is
one,
from the
you were
show.
fine.
I think I'm. I don't know what the. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just gonna do the show from my phone from now on.
Well, I told you you're probably
Sorry.
having the same thing, the same issues that Deb has. Is that more than likely? I'm willing to bet your computer is running on Windows 10. They are phasing out Windows
Okay.
10s, which means everything they do is going. They're not doing any more updates for it. They haven't done any updates for it, and they're pretty much anything Windows 10 related gets shut down sometime next month. So that's probably what it is. And I bet your laptop, like a lot of laptops from back then, doesn't have enough RAM to run Windows 11. And TJ just took himself out again. Oh, that's why.
Can y'all see me? Hear me?
Yep.
All right, cool. Can y'all see me? Hear me? Yep. All right.
With the echo.
Let me. I'm so over this.
Well, TJ's still over here messing with his stuff. So that's
All right, there. This should work now. Y'all hear me?
Go back to the other one.
All right, this should work now. Y'all hear me? Back to the other one. All right.
Well, what was going on here?
Okay. I can't figure out which one's my phone, which one's the fucking my computer. Okay, I think this is right. This is my phone. Okay, we're good.
You're on the phone right now, man. Don't touch it. No touchy.
All right. Fucking A, dude. I'm so over this shit. Anyway.
Long story short, you need a new one, yes.
Well then, unfortunately, looks like we're just gonna have to do it this way because I can't afford that shit. So all right, anyway, what's cracking, Captain?
Not much, man. Just chilling. Coming off a nice week 2 win. Gaming, was a little hairy at time, but at the same time, these are the kind of wins you want your young team to win because it builds that callus to where you know what I mean. They start getting some confidence. I'm like, we can do this. We didn't play good, great. We can still win.
Yeah, I gotta ask you this, Jason, and tell me if I'm tripping. Did Kyle Shanahan almost cost us this game, bro?
By deciding to just start passing the ball randomly in the fourth quarter, we could have ran the clock out. Yes.
It wasn't just me. I remember. Okay, this final drive. I think it was the final 2 offensive drives. Here, I have it right now. Okay, 4 plays. Literally, this is the 4-play sequence, Jason. We take over with 6:18 left in the fourth quarter, up by
13 was 13 or something like that. I forget what it was.
Okay, no, this is right after the touchdown. So we're up by 5. Okay, New Orleans just scored the touchdown. We have 6:18 left in the fourth quarter. This is Kyle's plays calls for the rest of the offensively for the rest of the game. 4-yard pass, incompletion, punt. Right? Defense comes out, 3 and out. They lose a yard. Okay. Then this is our genius offensive, gurus, head coaches. Okay, then run to McCaffrey, short pass to McCaffrey, incomplete to Juwan, punt. Literally, the final 2 drives, we had 7 plays. This nigga ran the ball once. And it wasn't even a play that drained the clock because it was the first play of the series.
I'm not calling Shanahan terrible, but this is an issue I don't understand his obsession with wanting to throw the ball to close out games. Every other team, when you were taught as a little kid, you run the ball to close out games. You take time off the clock. Yes, you might not move the ball, but you know what? You took some time off the clock, or you made them spend their time out so they couldn't stop the clock if they got a gain or something. Why
You
is it
know,
so hard for him to go against that grain, or so easy?
Jason, it's so frustrating because, like, I don't pretend to be an X's and O's man. You know, I will always forever maintain that Kyle Shanahan has forgotten more about football than I'll ever like dream to know. You know,
Yeah.
but like what I feel like is I've watched football. Like for those who don't know, I went to San Francisco this weekend and everything like that. Tried to go to Kezar Stadium. Unfortunately, it was literally on the opposite side of the city, so it just wasn't possible for me. But I was like talking to people and everything like that, and like majority of the people in the bar, it's like, dude, I've been watching Niner football longer than you've been alive, motherfucker. You know, and like I almost feel insulted that Kyle just thinks like, look, I know you know more football than us, but I just feel so almost insulted that like you don't think I know enough football to know with the 5-point lead on the road in a dome in the Superdome. Matter of fact, with the team coming back, right? Because there was no Ain't fan, I believe, in that stadium that didn't believe that they were going to win the game once they got the ball back.
No.
Twice. You know what I'm saying? Got the ball back twice. You have, I wouldn't know. I would have to look this up, but I would believe one of the youngest defenses in the NFL, if not the youngest defense in the NFL.
Let's see if I can Gemini that.
Yeah. Quote me on that, bro. I could be wrong on that. I'm not 1,000%
I'm
sure,
willing to
but
put money on it with you. Put it that way. I would think that
yeah,
if it's
I
not,
would
it's
think,
top 3 at least.
yeah. And with your backup quarterback on the road, like that's just like that's insanity.
Actually, it's the Eagles.
Okay, what do we rank?
It's not giving me ranks. It's just, let's see. And of course, it's not giving. It's just giving position groups.
Okay, well, that'll be something that we research. Matter of fact, actually, let me get my Niner trivia book because I'm hoping this cooperates.
I'll put it this way: an average NFL starter by team. So this is the entire team. They don't break it down by defense. We are the 3rd youngest team, or 3rd oldest team in the league.
3rd oldest.
Oldest.
Okay, but you're also got to realize that's 99.9%.
Yeah, that's everybody.
That
That's the only thing I can get with any sort of.
Yeah, but you look at that. That's actually kind of crazy considering we it seemed like we had such a purge this offseason.
We're not even top 5.
But
damn.
I like defense. We've got to be the 3rd young, like top 5 young.
We're not even top 5. They show the top 5, and we're not even top 5.
Oh, like defensive?
No. Yeah, I'm sorry. I read it wrong. We're number 4. I read it wrong.
Number 4. The 4th youngest defense.
Yeah, we're the 2nd youngest defense.
Oh, 2nd youngest defense.
Yep.
All right, cool. So 2nd youngest defense in the NFL. And your idea is, hey, I'm gonna put them out there twice, Jason, not once. Like the first time. This is what pissed me off because the first time I was like, all right, whatever. You got the ball back. The last time I was like, how can we keep doing this? Like does Kyle literally believe this is 2019 and we got D Ford, Richard Sherman, and I love it. I'm so proud of our defense. Like I totally agree with what you said, Brett. Build up a callus, the confidence, the swagger, everything that's going to come from these wins. But we also have to
we're
admit
trying too hard.
Kyle's playing with fucking fire, bro.
Exactly. Like say, it doesn't have to be like. Do I want all that stuff? Yes. Do I want it to be that hard every week? If we could just close it off, you're still going to get the same amount. The only thing you're not going to get is a big play by Bosa at the end of the game. But I could have also
Or Huff
gone without.
this year.
Well, yeah, or Huff.
Huff
But
this
I could.
weekend.
Yeah, but the defense is still going to have that same swagger by shutting a team out. You still did it, whether it took you the first time or the second time.
Yeah. I'm so frustrated, Jason, because he's playing with fire. Because like I walked out, of course, I'm screaming, I'm going psycho. Funny enough, there were more Shecock fans in the bar that I was watching the game at than Niner fans, which is don't ask me how that's possible in fucking San Francisco. But anyway,
there's 4 bars here in Seattle that have more Niner fans than Seahawks fans. So.
But you know what? I will say this. Realistically, it's more of a soccer bar. It's more known as a Manchester United bar. And realistically, there weren't that many people in the bar, period. So besides the Shecock fans, there might have only been, there was a Cry Girls fan, and like he walked in pretty late and everything like that. And that's the only reason that game was put in. Anyway, whatever, doesn't matter.
And everything
So
like that.
I went psycho and everything like that, but I'm like, something tells me if you give Matthew Stafford those same opportunities, he's gonna burn you on at least one of them.
Same opportunities,
right, Jason? Am I wrong? Please, y'all, if I'm tripping, and everybody wants to tell me take a chill pill, everybody says. By the way, I'm actually not high this time, but everybody tries to say, hey, TJ, don't smoke so much, and you wouldn't freak out as much. Like, please tell me if I'm freaking out. But something tells me if that's Matthew Stafford next Thursday or 2 Thursdays from now or 3 Thursdays, 3 Thursdays, 3 Thursdays from now. If that's Matthew Stafford, we probably lose that game, bro.
And it doesn't have to be Matthew Stafford. What if you take a middle of the quarterback, say Jared Goff? Goff probably, you know what I mean? Jared Goff probably wins that game.
With that weapon, with the weapons he has.
Yep. Look at some of the other teams. Baker Mayfield for sure wins that game. You know what I mean? It's guys like that, So I mean, maybe even
Murray win that game.
Say what?
This week. Now I'll give you the Niners being at home. So maybe that makes it a little bit easier. The fact that we're not in a dome and we're at home and it's a home opener and we got the white throwbacks on and all that shit. So I am excited this week. Let's be real. The last time we wore the white throwbacks at home, we fucking demolished the Panthers. You feel me? So
are they pushing anything out like white out or anything like that for the stadium?
I haven't heard anything. They've stopped doing the giveaways. Like, how like every game you used to get something, bro. Like I remember I don't even know what it is, but they gave away for years, bro. They gave away these like it was like when we first in 2018 when we first came out with the throwbacks, they gave away these shirts. And they used to give away like rally time. I remember that was almost an automatic. You went to a Niner game and they were gonna at least give you a rally towel.
Yeah.
And now they don't. The only games they give away stuff for is the preseason. We haven't even gotten our season ticket member gifts yet.
Damn.
Yeah, bro. We haven't even gotten our season ticket member gifts. I emailed them a while ago. I emailed them a while ago, and they were like, "Oh, they're coming towards the beginning of the season." Honestly, truthfully, I know our last payment comes next month, and I'm like, bro, they're gonna be hella shady, bro, and wait until fucking they get our last payment for the season before they send them. I'm like, that's some straight pitch shit, bro. Because like our last payment for the 2025 season comes in October. If you're on the monthly plan like I am.
And wait.
So I was like, bro, that's gonna be hella.
Wait till you finish out the year before they give it to you.
Yeah, I was like, bro, that's so fucking gay, bro. I would hate if that's the shit that they do. Anyway, so that's just my main takeaway. Like that's and I hate to say it because like y'all know I'm a big Shanahan believer, bruh. I genuinely do believe. Like I know that there's a big question with Manchester United lost 3-0, got our asses handed to us. It was actually quite embarrassing and depressing. The Niners actually the only thing that saved me from like jumping in front of the Caltrain this weekend. But so the Giants got their asses handed to them I think it was 2 out of the 3 games by the fucking Dodgers. It was bad. It was fucking horrible weekend for Bay Area sports. But anyway, so I mean there was positives to take away from that game. I just feel like
it could have been easier.
yes. And it's like to me, these 2 games. And mind you, look, this wasn't nearly as dominant as week 1, right? Like the defense did look like it had some flaws. There were some moments where I started to see some issues in the run game creep back in. That tight end Johnson, I think his name was the one that scored the first touchdown.
Juwan Johnson.
Yeah, he was a fucking problem. He was like, how did they?
Not only was he a problem, he dropped 3 balls that hit him in the chest.
Yeah, like
so that just shows you how big of an issue he could have been. A serious problem.
Like I don't understand why they didn't just use like straight up use him like Gronk all game long and just said Marquise Siegel. Like I feel bad because look, like all the faithful, we know this, bro. All the faithful are you cannot be pleasantly surprised. Even after a performance that wasn't quite as dominant as week 1, you have to be pleasantly surprised by this defense.
Oh yeah.
But when you to the point where I'm like, hey, look, bro, I think the Niners have a chance to do some. If we can figure out shit offensively, which I'm willing to say that you're still talking about a football team that offensive, especially offensively. Let's be real. How many snaps did this offense take in the preseason, Jason?
Together,
yeah. I mean, we may have had 3 drives in total the whole preseason, and then you add it to the fact of what Juice was out of the game. So, like, how many snaps have we actually had our starting offense out for on the field this season?
Maybe 10-ish, maybe.
Whatever that first drive, and Kittle, I think, got hurt like a couple plays into that second drive, wasn't it?
Yeah. So you're looking, like I said, you're looking at 10, maybe 12, 15 plays at the absolute most.
The Niners offensive, it's almost starting to get back to last year when we said there was never a time last season that Kittle, PA, Debo, Juice, everybody was on the field at the same time. There just never was.
Never together.
And it's starting to get like that this point this year too. Like, fuck, dude, we were without Juice and Kittle Corn. Let's be real. Trent's compromised, right? Trent's out there just because he's Trent, and like it's like, look, big dog, we need you,
But he put on a fucking amazing show, though. He was fucking awesome.
Well, that's what I call like. Have you ever noticed it happened last year? It happened, I believe, the year before. Like, I believe the only year that Trent came out guns a-blazing from week 1 is literally 2020, the year we got him. And that was literally the man didn't play football in 2019. So he was probably the freshest he's ever been in his entire life, considering what Trent Williams has never missed. Think about Trent Williams has probably played every season of football since he was probably 6 years old. Like, Trent Williams has never took a season off of football since the time he was 6 years old until 2019 when he missed the time with the Commanders.
At the same time, though, it's like he got a bone bruise in the game in Seattle, here in Seattle.
Yeah.
Finished the game. So, I mean, it's not like he was hobbling coming into the season. He was good to go. Just, took a rough shot.
What I'm saying is that
People always seem to have some complaint about Trent Williams week 1, and Trent looks washed up and everything. And then he just comes out week 2 and has a game that shows you this is why I'm a Hall of Famer. This is why I'm probably one of the best left tackles to ever play the game of football, next to maybe Joe Thomas. At least in our lifetime, Jason. I'm not going to speak about the 70s and 60s and 50s and all that.
Anthony Gonzalez, Larry Allen. Yeah, Larry Allen's guard.
Larry Allen
He's
was
up
a
there.
tackle, though. Larry Allen was.
That's why he's the guard for thinking.
But
yeah, he's easily up there.
Yeah, easily up there. And so I will give the offense a little bit of credit in that sense. And like, this is not our starting offense. What I will not give credit is to Kyle. Or I'll give a break is to Kyle. And it's not like I'm mad that we put up 26 points and we didn't score and oh, your kicker mixed it extra. Well, okay, this time you can't really be mad at Kyle because it's like last week, like, yeah, I put some blame on Jake Moody because I was like, make your fucking kicks, bruh. But at the same time, I put some blame on the offense and said, finish the ball in the finish the the ball in the end zone when you get to the red zone. How do you stop your kicker from missing kicks, Jason? Don't rely on your kicker to make kicks and put the ball into the fucking hit pay dirt. That's how you make sure your kicker doesn't have to line up for kicks. Put the ball into the end zone. But to me, what my issue with Kyle and why I'm pissed at Kyle after this game is like, I don't give a fuck if Kittlecorn's out. Every excuse that you can make off for the offense this game makes it even more of a travesty of what Kyle did. You didn't have Juice and Kittlecorn. Okay, then why the fuck are you throwing it with your backup quarterback in the fourth quarter, only up by 5 points?
You could almost say to an extent that you would expect him. Okay, so say we always run the ball like a normal team. Mm-hmm. But then we go for that pass. Okay, well, if another team uses that pass once every 20 plays, in the fourth quarter, guess what? It catches you off surprise. Ain't no one surprised when we drop back to pass with the lead in the fourth quarter. Like, they're waiting for it.
With our backup quarterback, Jason. With our fucking backup quarterback, bruh. Like, I just can't get over that. I can't get over.
This is what I'll say about that. Is he a backup quarterback? Yes. You're also talking about a backup quarterback who has 50 starts in the NFL. So it's not like he's new. So backup, yes, but he's definitely someone who knows what, I mean? I trust. Hey, I've been happier with him there than I have been in the last few years. Sam Darnold, Brandon Allen, Pasternak, some of those guys. I'd rather Jones is leaps and bounds above those guys.
I saw what I expect. No, okay, fine. Turn the hat backwards. We'll start to get positive and everything like that. I saw everything that I expected to see. I saw what I saw in the preseason. And what I saw in the preseason, I was fine with from our backup quarterback, right? There was nothing in the preseason that I was like, oh my God, we're in fucking trouble. I think from Matt Jones. From Tanner Mordecai and Chase Bradley, I was like, we're in fucking trouble. From what I saw of Mac Jones. And that's the thing that makes me positive out of this game is, look, it's not like we were lining up against the Chiefs defense or anything like that. So, we have to take a grain of salt with that. But nobody's saying that we can go out and beat the Chiefs with this defense. Or I'm this team right now. But when you put together a game like this, and then I have a few stats, and I want to get to a trivia question, real quick for y'all, of course. Damn it, ESPN's not loading. Okay, there it goes. When you could put together an offensive game from your backup quarter without your best offensive weapon, and let's be, with Juice and everything, and you go punt, touchdown, field goal, punt, touchdown, fumble, which Mac Jones put on himself, field goal, touchdown, and then the 2 punts to end the game, which I'll put that more on Kyle than anything Mac Jones did. Mm. I'll take that from my backup quarterback all day, every day, Jason.
Yeah. And even that fumble, as much as that everybody's saying that, I've seen so many people blame that on McKivitz. McKivitz took that man to the ground. and Max still had almost 4 seconds to throw the ball. So that was his one big mistake.
It's the same thing with Trent. Like, okay, so if you look back to the game-winning play, right? The guy who almost sacked Brock right before he threw it to Tonjes, that was Trent's man, right? But if you watch the play from beginning to end, Trent puts the man on his ass pretty much immediately, right? Takes him out of the play. And because the only way that man was a threat and almost sacked Brock was nothing that Trent did. Trent literally put the man on his ass. It was because Brock extended the play. He was able to get up, continue pressuring. And that's how, and I think that's almost McKivitz. It's like, look, I'm never going to blame an offensive lineman for anything that happens to a quarterback when they put their man on the ground. Because as a former offensive lineman, there's a little bit of pressure you have as an offensive lineman of knowing where your quarterback is, kind of almost being able to have that sense of where your quarterback is.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know about you, Jason, and how you were taught, but we were taught 4 seconds.
Yeah.
So we were taught 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi. By that time, the quarterback should have the ball. The quarterback should either be out of the pocket and it's a free for all, or the ball is out of his hands. Correct? I mean, y'all were taught that, right? That's what I was taught.
More or less the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, more or less the same thing. So I'm not putting that on McKivitz at all. Like, what is he supposed to do? Block his man for 50 seconds? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, get up out of here, bro. I believe the average NFL, like if you look at the quarterbacks with the most times to throw in the NFL each year, I believe it's still less than 3 seconds.
Probably.
So if you go back and you're talking about McKivitz, that Mac Jones was able to hold on to the ball for 4 seconds without getting decapitated, that's not on the line. Matter of fact, I would dare go as far as to praise the offensive line and say I thought they felt fine. I thought they deserved a lot better credit than they did week 1 for what they are. We're not going to be the Cry Girls or the Eagles offensive line. I think people need to hold, like, get that idea out of their head. We're never going to be the top. We're never going to be the number 1 offensive line in the league, at least overall. We might have the best tackle. I think Kyle will prioritize that. Kyle's probably going to prioritize tackle and center.
Yeah,
on the offensive line. But let's be real. Everybody's talking about, I know it's crazy. You literally can't even. But people were talking about extending Pooney. And I said, let's be real, bro. They're not going to extend Pooney because they're going to let guards walk. As long as they're able to get Connor Kobe, and what did we get him in? The 6th round? 7th round, and Dominic Pooney in the 3rd round, and Daniel Brunskill as an undrafted free agent, and all. As long as they're able to get guards like that, the Niners will never extend guards. So anyway,
have to have like an NFL All-Pro season for me to be, saying, we're definitely.
And they literally can't extend him yet because you can't. He's still on his rookie contract. We couldn't even extend him until after his 3rd year, even if we wanted to. Per rules, there's the NFL rules. So, getting to the defense, Jason, I just wanted to really get your thoughts on this real quick. What do you believe it's as simple as Robert Saleh being the difference? Or I won't say specifically Robert Saleh, but I'll go as far as saying having somebody with a linebacker background. Because if you look, the 2 successful defensive coordinators we had under Kyle Shanahan were both linebackers. D'Amico literally being a linebacker, right? And then Robert Saleh coming from a linebacker's background. Versus the last 2 we had before we brought Robert Saleh back coming from a DB background. And we obviously know how that turned out.
I don't know if I want to say it's necessarily just Salah. I think it's that whole defensive staff because you look at the staff last year. I mean, yes, we had Brandon Staley, who is at least still to me. I think Brandon Staley is a decent defensive coordinator. He failed as a head coach, doesn't mean he failed as a DC. But I think that whole staff is just so much more competent and knows how to put together a game plan. Like, I'm willing to put money on it. You put this same staff with last year's defense, they play much better. I'm not going to say they're going to be great or anything like that, but they just seem to play with so much more intelligence. They're not, they don't look like they're just flying around without knowing what's going on. Also, with everything else that goes on, it also helps to have that second linebacker versus someone who can barely keep up with, a walking toddler.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Look at what Nick Torrenson was working with as linebacker 2 last year.
Exactly.
I'll give you that. Like, look, to me, if Niners gave a most improved player award out, it should be D winners.
Oh, hands down right now. I don't think it's even a question.
Like, my 2 biggest defensive takeaways were the most improved player on the football team.
Yeah.
It is D winners. And that you and I have been talking about, you and I have been talking about George Kittle, a Hall of Famer, all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's time to talk about Bam Bam in the same breath, cuz
Oh, yeah.
maybe not
100%.
greatest of all time, but
definitely Hall of Fame material at this point.
Yes. Like, because I walk away from that game and I'm like, Fred Warner is defensive MVP. Like, not Bam Bam MVP of the week. He's obviously that. Well, I'm going to give that to Brandon. I'm going to give that to Huff just simply because he's been what we've missed since D Ford. Yeah, that's what we needed. That's what this defense has missed. Everybody's talking shit, including you and I, Jason, have talked shit about the wide 9. We have.
I wouldn't say I talk shit about it. I just think that it's been figured out.
Yeah. Not that we talk shit is the wrong word, but like criticized. Yeah. And I think the number one thing, and look, I think 2 things can be true. I think those criticisms can still exist. It does cause problems against the run. It exposes you to runs, particularly in the inside and and in between the guard and the tackle, the inside gaps. I can't. I believe. See, I can't remember my gaps right now. Basically where the DN should be, but he's out further.
Yeah.
But I think what we've been missing is the upside of it. Hey, it's 4th quarter. You need the game closed out and everything like that. We haven't had that pretty much since D Ford. So we haven't seen those benefits of it. And then now, since we've gotten Huff, we've literally seen the benefits of that back-to-back weeks. And I think it's poetic justice that it happens to be our 2 defensive ends that are past. Well, it happens to be Nick Bosa, week 1, which our alpha defensive lineman, right? Best defensive lineman, and then our D Ford replacement in Huff, week 2,
which is 2 guys you pay to close out games.
Yes, that's those jobs. Nick Bosa's job is to be the best player on the defensive field, or second best, depending on him and Fred. You could argue. But that's his job. Huff was specifically brought in to do what he did against the Aints. Congratulations, sir. Thank you. Job well done. You earned that check. And if he's got bonuses for strip sacks and all, whatever he gets this week, he fully deserves. Yeah. He deserves all the play. Congratulations. First defensive Bam Bam defensive MVP of the week for Bryce Huff, and hopefully many more. Because if he closes out games like that, We're gonna name him defensive MVP of the week a lot, Jason. Offensive.
And again, that's what we wanted him to do. He's not there to stop the run.
Nope.
He's not there to play every down. He's there to close games.
To quote the famous D Ford, his job is to go that way. That's his only job, to go that way. So offensive MVP, I think you gotta give it to Mac 10.
Yeah,
I think you got it. When you accomplish something in Niner history that has not been done since Joe Montana and Steve Young, which is to win back-to-back games by two different quarterbacks on the road, by two starting different quarterbacks. Steve and Joe did it in '88. Yeah, I think you deserve. We obviously. I mean, I would totally look. Neither one of these men are going to have anywhere close to the careers that either of those quarterbacks had. Literally, Brock can't because he can't go undefeated in the Super Bowl like Steve and Joe did. But I would take 10% of Steve's career. If Brock had 10% of Steve Year's career, I would take that to the bank right now. One championship and a tenth of Steve's career. Shoot, run that shit.
That'd basically be what, Jeff Garcia without a Super Bowl, more or less.
Jeff Garcia with the Super Bowl. Yeah, I would take Jeff Garcia with the Super Bowl right now. I would totally take that. But I will say, if we can get that from our backup quarterback consistently, I don't see why we don't bring him back, Jason.
Well, Mac's under contract for 2 years.
Oh, I thought he was 1 year. He's on 2 years?
Yeah, he's on a 2 year.
Oh, yeah. Well, then fuck it. Fuck it. Hell yeah, baby. Because,
the idea is that he plays good this year, we flip him, for a good draft pick. Hopefully he plays good enough for someone's willing to give up a good draft pick. Hello, Cincinnati, since Joe Burrows is out for the next 6 weeks, minimum, or 3 months, I'm sorry. Someone like that, someone could make a move like that. And then eventually Rourke would take over because, the Maple Missile.
See, I'm real nervous about that, bro. And the reason I'm real nervous is, look, we love Dirty Purdy, right? And look, I did not see anything this week that made me think that Brock's job's in jeopardy, but
not at all.
Love Brock. Y'all know Dirty Purdy, ice in his veins, big cock Brock, Glock Purdy, whatever you want to call him, bro. Like, I love Glock Purdy, right? Miss Veronica, big shout out to her. She's at work, so unfortunately she's not going to be able to tune in today. But I know she'll probably be watching later. She likes to call him Glock Purdy, but she messaged me. She goes, Glock Purdy and Mac 10. I was like, let's go, baby. But real quick, I just want to read this off. Bam Bam surpassed Patrick Willis for most passes defense by a 49ers linebacker since it became an official stat in 1994. He is now tied for the most. He is tied for the most forced fumbles by a Niners linebacker. Okay, hold on. Yeah, okay. Sorry, bro. I lost it for a second. I lost it. Anyway, and then now, what was the last one? Oh, I'm sorry. That's the first time it's happened in Niner history was 88. The first time it's happened since 2016. The Vikings did it in 2016. The two different quarterbacks with back-to-back wins.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that, as much grief as I just gave Kyle this episode, right, rightfully so, I consider he's earned his 72nd regular season win, surpassing Lawrence Buck Shaw, our first head coach, for third most wins by a head coach in franchise history. So I think that's a little bit of an asterisk because, like, okay, well, Buck Shaw coached from 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54. Okay, so he coached 9 seasons just like Shanahan has right now. So, okay, you could say that's fair. 9 seasons to 9 seasons. But the only coaches he's behind is the two goats, George Seifert and Bill Walsh.
George and Bill.
George and Bill. I don't know. Like, it's hard to think about that right now. Like, is Kyle Shanahan the third greatest coach in team history?
Probably.
Like, you would say that, right? Like you would say, but like Steve Mariucci, but like Steve never made it to. Like, let's be real. Love him to death, and I think like Steve Mariucci to me taught, be careful what you wish for because you may get it. Everybody was so like we were so close to fire, so quick to fire Mariucci after that loss to, by the way, the defending Super Bowl champs. Maybe one of the greatest defenses of all time. And then that's literally what slipped us into the decade of darkness, right? Was the firing of Steve Mariucci. But yeah, I find Harbaugh.
It burned out too quickly. That's my problem.
Yeah,
like the passion was there, the fire was there.
Oh, bro, if we didn't get rid of Harbaugh,
it burned too hot.
It did. It was. You know what?
Oh, you're froze again, TJ. So I'm not sure if we're going to figure out what exactly. TJ's back.
Okay, my bad. I stepped away from the router. So anyway, I said we would have been like a firework, bright and beautiful, and out just as quickly. It is hard to say, just because you think of the 2 Super Bowl losses, some of the heartbreaking, like the blowing 10 points against the Yams, in the fourth quarter. Some of the most heartbreaking moments I've had as a faithful have happened under Kyle Shanahan. But then I step back and I say, okay, take away the 2 Super Bowl winning coaches. And I'm not going to pretend like I knew, Dick Nolan or Buck Shaw or, any of the old school Niner coaches.
The old ones.
Let's be real. I grew up mostly on Seifert and Mariucci when I was younger. But yeah, I dare to say that, Jason. I think that besides Bill and George, I think Shanahan's got to be third all time greatest Niner head coach.
Yeah, I agree. Even compared to Harbaugh, I think he's ahead of Harbaugh easily.
I'll put Kyle as, like, this is what I've always said, is I believe that, like, if you want to talk about getting your team motivated, like a team like this team, right? Underdogs, young, hungry, and everything like that. I think Harbaugh would be the absolute perfect coach for this young football team. I do. Because I think he would adore George Kittle. George Kittle would be like his son he never had. Like George Kittle would be Harbaugh's son he never had. Because you imagine the shit he would say about George Kittle, Jason.
Could you say this? It would basically Harbaugh with Kittle almost makes Kittle. I almost wonder if Kittle goes too far. Like, he would be completely unhinged. Does that make any sense? You know what I mean? It's like he goes from being the hero toward being. It goes too far, basically. Like, the same thing with with Harbaugh. Would Harbaugh let George go that extra step where George seems to pull him back, or Kyle does, or whatever? Like, Harbaugh would encourage him taking that extra step.
He would.
He'd probably push him over that extra step just to see what he would do.
Yeah, it'd be beautiful though. But give me Harbaugh to motivate a team. Like, if you're going in as a massive underdog, and everything, give me Jim Harbaugh as your coach.
Yeah, I want that. I want him giving that speech before the game.
Yeah, I want him giving that speech before his game. I want him looking into your quarterback's eyes, and everything like that, because I believe he had Cap feeling like Cap. I believe Harbaugh had Cap feeling like Cap was way better than he was.
Yeah.
And
He
I
can
think
make
that,
people
which is cool.
look at
That's what you're
Alex.
supposed to do as a coach. That's what you're supposed to do as a coach. You're supposed to make your players believe that they're better than what they are.
Look at what he did with Alex and his confidence. Just confidence.
Look, bro, I'm not going to go as far as to say, as some people, but I got boys that will die on the hill to say that if Alex started that Super Bowl, we win.
I'm one of them. I think I've said that a million times, honestly.
I disagree. I think I don't know. I don't know though, because I think the one most underrated thing about Alex is that people don't realize Alex was clutch as fuck, bro. Alex had
He
some
has a
comebacks
chance,
in
he
him,
can
bro.
win.
Like Alex, I'll never forget. I think it was who was it that was it Troy Smith? I forget who got benched, but it was Michael Crabtree's first game in Houston, and the Niners were down 21-0. And I forget who started the game, but whoever started the game got benched at halftime. And I remember it was Michael Crabtree. Remember Crabtree held out? And Crabtree didn't sign until October or November.
Fuck, I completely forgot about that shit.
Yeah, Crabtree held out for hella long.
He did, I
They were
completely
starting to
spaced
talk
on it.
about whether Crabtree was going to go enter into the draft. Or what? That's how I found out what happens if a player refused to sign his contract. That's how I found. Now this is before slotted contracts.
Yeah.
I believe this was before slotted contracts, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, Crabtree held out until October or something like that. But I remember it was the game in Houston. Niners were down 21 nothing at halftime, and Alex brought us back, and we ended up losing the game 28-21. But it was the Singletary year, one of the Singletary years, and we ended up losing the game 28-21. But Alex brought us back, and I'll never forget that. Alex was lightweight clutch, bro. If we had a chance, and I think unfortunately I think the hardest thing about Alex was that the dysfunction of the organization. I think it would have been hard for any quarterback, including Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I think it would have been worse because I don't think that Aaron Rodgers has the class that Alex has. To be thrown under the bus how many times he was by Dick Nolan, and everything like that.
That's an easy yes.
Yeah. So really, honestly, it might have burnt the franchise to the ground if we drafted Aaron Rodgers.
We look like fucking Cleveland had it been Aaron Rodgers.
And that's why we picked the wrong quarterback. Oh no, because going to Green Bay and sitting and all that, I don't think any quarterback would have survived in the disaster that was the Niners organization in the mid 2000s.
Yeah.
But anyway, offensively, you got to give it to Mac Jones. Also, this is the seventh time in franchise history that we've gone 2-0, and both games have been on the road victories. 4 of the previous 6 times we've gone to the Super Bowl. I will look up I'll give you the trivia from my trivia book, but I promise y'all I will look up what 2 years we didn't make the Super Bowl, because I know one of the years we did was 2019, because we started off that's when we started in Tampa and Cincy. We were our first 2 games. Joe Staley breaks his leg in Cincy, and that's actually the only reason Daniel Brunskill became a thing. If you don't remember, week 2, Joe Staley breaks his leg in 2019, and Daniel Brunskill had to start at tackle. Matter of fact, I think McGlinchey and Joe Staley got hurt in that game, if I'm not mistaken.
Don't
I can't
remember.
remember. But I know Joe Staley broke his leg in Cincy. I remember because we were up by like 17 points, and I was like, why the fuck are our starters out there? But anyway, Daniel Brunskill starts the next week. I believe the next week was against the Yams. No, it wasn't. It was against Cleveland. It was against Cleveland. Anyway, I will look that up. But anyway, Jason, well, yeah. Anything else, bro?
No, good win. Like I said, ugly, yes, but a win is a win, especially when we can get a win, 2 weeks in a row versus the divisional and a conference opponent. Just keep it rolling. You know what I mean? These are the kind of wins that they're gonna mean more come the end of the season. One, because of standings, because obviously we'll now have better seeding with these guys for right now, and at the same time, it's building the confidence of these guys on the young defense quicker than we expected them to.
And this is my most encouraging thing, and then I'll let you go ahead. I just wanted to get your thoughts on this. Do you believe that the 2024 or at any point under the Kyle Shanahan tenure, 49ers teams win these two games?
Yeah, I do.
I don't believe we win. I don't believe we win week one. I believe the 2024 Niners and probably most of the teams under Kyle Shanahan do not win week one.
But I mean, also at the same time, we had a more veteran defense that might have been able to figure it out. You know what I mean? Versus someone, so.
Touche. Well, yeah, I'm with you, Jason. Never complain about going 2-0 on the road, and I feel a little bit of a relief just because I said the one thing that scared me about this football team this year was burying ourselves in an early hole.
Mm-hmm. And we've kind of dug out of it a little bit.
And I think that like now, I'm not going to say like it's clear sky and everything like that, but that hole seems that we could. It seems like the hole that if we do dig ourselves into a hole, at least the hole wouldn't be as deep now.
It's not 6 feet. It might be only 3 to 4.
Yeah, it might be only 3 and 4, but like walk out of one with the next two, and I'm definitely feeling good. If you could tell me that the Niners walked out of September 3-1, I take that to the bank. All right, 100%. Brother. We'll see you Friday.
Friday. Fafita lover. One love.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Glad we were able to finally get everything figured out. We shall see y'all next week. Our trivia question for the pregame. We'll ask this, huh? No, that's too easy. Ooh, the Harbaugh years, chapter 8. No. Let's see. Chapter 6. Steve Young years, 91 to 99. Okay. Okay. What year did Steve Young officially become the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers? That is our trivia question for the pregame on Sunday. All right, y'all. We shall see y'all next week. Till then, we're going to say, we'll see y'all Friday. Till then, we're going to say faith, love, and happiness. Go Niners.